There's an enormous variety of Morse keys that's available on the market, but one thing that they all have in common is that they need adjustment. They need to be adjusted so that they're right for the way you want to use them. In this video, what we're going to do is to show you how to adjust the various types of straight key, that's the up and down pump handle type of key, and how you can get the best performance out of them. As you can see, I've got three keys at the back here, and these have slightly different adjustments on them. This key here you can see has two adjustments on it. This key here actually has three. You can see 1, 2, 3 there, and this other key at the back here has some other ones. You've got two on the lever itself, and then one either side, as you can see there, to adjust the bearing. So we'll show you how to adjust all of these keys so you can get the best performance out of them. So let's start with the most straightforward type of key, the one with two adjustments, as we see here. The first thing to do, in fact, when you're adjusting any key is to slacken off the adjustments a little bit so that you've got a good starting point. We'll just slack them there. You can see there's plenty of movement on the lever there. So the next thing to do is to then adjust the gap to get approximately what you think you might want. It's a little bit of an iterative process. And if you don't know quite how much you want, then start with a couple of millimeters or something of that order, and then see how you get on with it. Having adjusted the gap, you then need to adjust the tension. This should be sufficient to bring it up quite reasonably well when you're sending. You don't want it too much force on there, too much tension, otherwise you'll get a stiff arm as you send the Morse. So that's probably not about right, and then you can go back and adjust the gap and so on with the tension set. And that is reasonably well adjusted, and you can see how you get on with it. The other thing not to forget is that what you don't want to do, a lot of keys have lock nuts there. Don't forget to tighten those up, otherwise when you're sending Morse the screws could become unadjusted. And in fact in here you can see a spring there which acts as a bit of a lock nut anyway to prevent the key or the adjustment moving during use. But so there we are, that's the first one adjusted, and obviously as you're sending later on you can see how you want to change things a little bit, and you can just tweak it a bit here and a bit there. So here we have the key with three adjustments on it. One is for tension, this one in the middle, and these two are for setting the gap, and in one way that may seem a little bit over the top, but you can adjust the second one to give you a little bit of height positioning for the up and down positions, but generally one tends to sort of leave it where it is. This one in fact has an Allen key to adjust the different adjusters, so what we'll do is slacken things off a bit. We'll slacken that off, and we'll slacken the tension off, and so you can see it now sort of moves quite freely around. And what we can do is adjust this one at the back here to give us the sort of position where we want the resting position. We've got to be a little bit careful we don't overdo things and end up with the forcing the key into the down position all the time, because that could, if we're not careful, it could end up bending the rocker or the lever, and that's probably about right. That's a good resting position. And in fact I was talking a little while ago about having the lock nut there. This one has got them. I can now adjust this to give the sort of gap I want, and that's probably about right. I may want a little bit more, but we'll just keep that in place and tighten the lock nut, and then we'll adjust the tension. How much tension do I want? I probably want a little bit more than that. Yeah, we'll see how we go. That's probably about right. We'll adjust that up, and I probably want a little bit less gap, and we'll just tighten that lock nut make sure they're all ready, and yeah, that's about right. And as I say, it's very easy to just tweak things a little bit later on if I need to, if I find it's not set quite as I want. So there we are. Now this is the third type of key that we were looking at, and as you can see, it's got the tension here. You can just see the spring underneath, and this is the gap adjustment, this one at the end, and it's not bad, but we might want to adjust it. So we'll slacken off these two lock nuts and open up the gap, so we've got a lot of gap there, and as you can see, that's too much. We'll slacken off the tension, and now we'll just adjust it to give the sort of tension we want, gap we want, something like that. Don't want too small a gap, otherwise we'll find that we don't end up with quite such positive Morse. On the other hand, if you're sending faster, sometimes a smaller gap is quite useful. So that's probably about right. The tension is about right, and we've adjusted that up. Now we've got the bearing adjustment on here, and what we've got are two adjustments here. So what we'll do is just slacken those off. You can see that the steel lever is held between the sort of bearing point there, and there's an equivalent one there. And what we want to do is make sure that the bearing is right. It caters for wear in the bearings, which can happen over time, and this was particularly common in the days of the Morse telegraph, when telegraph operators would be on the key for very long periods of time, and so keys would tend to wear a bit, and there needed to be a way of making sure that that was adjusted. So what we need to do is first of all make sure this is centered up nicely, because the position of the lever is governed by the two bearings, and what we need to do is on one of them just tighten it so that we can just feel it starting to grip on the lever, and then back it off a little, just a quarter of a turn or something like that, and make sure that it then will rock freely. So that's the way that we need to adjust that, and then we need to tighten up both of the lock nuts and make sure that, again, that is moving freely. Also, we don't want any sideways movement. If the adjustment is too loose, then the lever can move from side to side, and that doesn't help with the sending. So we've adjusted that one up, and that is now ready for use. So that's the three types of Morse key that we've adjusted. So now here are our bonus tips. The first one is to make sure that the earth connection on the lead goes to the actual lever. You can see on the lever here, this is actually one of the connections, and it's connected to the body of the key, and you can probably just make out in there, there's an insulating washer there, and that is actually the other point on the switch. So it is far better that the switched point, or the above ground point, goes to that contact on the Morse key, because if there are any voltages around, then there's far less chance of being able to touch the high voltages. And this is earthed, so that acts as a protection. These days there are generally only very low voltages, but some of the older transmitters might have had higher voltages on that. In fact, I saw the example once of an old spark transmitter Morse key that had insulators on it, and I would have dreaded to have used that. You can see a photo of that on the screen at the moment. So there we are. That's tip number one. And then tip number two is to make sure that the bearing pivots freely. Sometimes if a Morse key has not been used for many years and it's got an internal bearing, as these keys have, then you may find that if there's any grease in there, it might have solidified a bit. So just make sure that the bearing can move very freely, and to do this, just slacken off the gap, give it a big gap, and just rock it up and down quite a few times, and make sure. If the Be a little bit aware of any additional grease or oil you put in there, because it may already be greased up, but just check that out and see what the best thing to do with it is, and just make sure that it pivots nice and freely. Otherwise the key will have quite a mushy and not a very nice feel to it. But yeah, make sure the bearing pivots very freely, and as it does on both of these keys. Another tip is on how you hold the Morse key. A lot of people you'll see just pressing them down from the top like that, and you can't really send good Morse that way. You actually need to grip the Morse key, so you pull it down and you also pull it up, and you're under complete control of the key. Even though it's got a tension in there, it's far better to actually hold the handle on the key and you then move it up and down, and that is the way that the Morse key handle should be held. So there we are. Those are our 3 extra tips. If you need to know any more about Morse keys and how to set them up, then please head over to the description area for the video, where there's plenty of information and loads of links that will give you even more information about Morse keys and so on. And also, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.